Welcome back to the Cannes Film Festival 2023 Parallel Challenge here on Fantasy Film Ball. We are your hosts, Matt and Arnaud.
That means we are watching an equivalent film to all 21 competition titles at Cannes this year. And in this video, we'll be talking about In Bed with Victoria and Anatomy of a Fall by Justine Triet. Justine Triet, let's talk about this filmmaker. Her new film, Anatomy of a Fall, is her fourth film. She is still a young filmmaker. Her first feature was in 2013, where she was selected in the Acid Sidebar of Cannes. Her second feature, In Bed with Victoria, in 2016, was the opening film of the Critics Week, and her third film, Sibylle, was in the 2019 competition. So she has been a Cannes mainstay since her first film, and she has just climbed the ranks. The only thing she's missing now is a prize. She has not yet won a prize. Maybe this is going to be the one. I don't know. I've already seen Sibylle, so that was not in the cards for us to watch. So we ended up going with In Bed with Victoria, also starring Virginie Efira.
In Bed with Victoria, also known as just Victoria, which I assume that they changed the title for English because there was another film that came out around the same time, also called Victoria, which was very popular. So In Bed with Victoria is a French comedy. It's about a lawyer, Victoria, as she deals with her life and her past. She raises her two children, and she deals with affairs, with figuring out if she wants love or if she just wants to hook up with people. And she also deals with a very bitter ex who keeps her very busy. She's simultaneously fighting two court cases through this film, one in which she is the defense attorney for someone who is accused of murder, and another court case where she is the plaintiff for a defamation lawsuit against her ex-husband, who has been writing blog posts about their life together, which intertwine reality and fiction and give away confidential details that she had disclosed about court cases that she had worked on. This film just follows her and her personal life as she deals with these two court cases, as she deals with motherhood, and as she deals with being a single woman who is in her late 30s and trying to juggle all of these things all at once.
It's a romantic comedy about a character who doesn't quite have her life together, and we've seen a lot of those, a lot of those. I think this one does stand out a little bit for a few reasons. Gotta say, after being slightly underwhelmed by Sibylle, I had a surprisingly great time with this one. It's simple. It's not trying to change the world. To me, it's a really strong romantic comedy that feels anchored to the real world. Her life is a complete mess. Literally, like, her apartment is a complete mess, and she's just letting her daughters play on the iPad the whole day. And then the whole court case surrounding, her good friend being accused of attempted murder, and then the whole defamation suit kind of keeps this moving. I like how we see the professional world and not just the personal world. Also want to give a quick shout out to Vincent Lacoste, who is, to me, the MVP of this film. He plays the romantic interest. I just love him as an actor. I think he's really well cast. Usually when in these kinds of roles, he was the saving grace of Winter Boy, I think it's called, from last year. One of the best parts of Lost Illusions, which I highly recommend.
I gotta come in a little bit lower on this one than you. I found In Bed with Victoria was pretty unremarkable overall. And for a rom-com, I definitely see the angle that it is more grounded than a lot of American comedies, but I personally didn't find myself laughing a single time in it. I wouldn't even really classify it as a comedy. I didn't find much to be funny about the film. It was kind of a film that was just there and then it finished. I didn't feel particularly negatively about it, but I just didn't really feel about it. It just left me feeling entirely flat. Virginie Efira, she was predictably quite good as Victoria in this film. She's been very good in everything I've seen her in. I think she brought some depth to the character's struggles. She brought an energy overall that I really liked to this character, and I think she realized it in a way that I don't think was fully in the screenplay here. And Justine Triet's direction isn't all that interesting, but occasionally she shoots with some flourish, especially in the production design and some of the court scenes. I thought was quite fun, quite stylish. But overall, I think she's just doing what's serviceable and not a whole lot more.
That's a bit too bad. I actually did have quite a lot of fun with this film, and I did find it funny. But
Maybe it's too French for me.
I also want to quickly note that Melville Poupeau and Virginie Efira returned together in a Cannes premiere title this year in Just the Two of Us. Also show how incestuous the French star system can be sometimes.
We will be seeing those two actors, but we will not be seeing them in the new Justine Triet movie, because Justine Triet is bringing her film Anatomy of a Fall to Cannes this year, and this is a thriller, not a comedy like this past one was, but this is a thriller which stars Sandra Hüller, who is also in The Zone of Interest, who is trying to prove her innocence in the death of her husband. Interestingly, it is another trial movie, so we have already seen a little tiny bit of what we can expect in this. Personally, I just don't think Justine Triet is a very interesting filmmaker. The plot of this film, maybe it's just a low concept film that can't be described in one sentence, but it's not leaving me feeling particularly inspired, and neither is her work on Victoria. I'm sure if the script is really strong, that she's a competent director. That's what I got out of this film. She's very competent behind the camera, but honestly, I think that Anatomy of a Fall is one of the competition films that might kind of just end up being overlooked, like The Divide, or like Brother and Sister from last year.
I think I disagree with this. Here's the thing. I do know that our reference are the films that she's already made, like In Bed with Victoria and Sibylle. And if I was basing myself purely on, oh, it's the new film by Justine Triet, I would agree with you. But based on the profile of this film, I can see this being one of the biggest surprises of the fest. I'm not kidding. This is a 2-hour and 30-minute dramatic film about a moral court dilemma. This is, once again, co-written with Arthur Harari, who we last saw from Onoda. Yes, he also wrote Sibylle, but I think Sibylle was just less ambitious. I think this is where Justine Triet can finally put all her cards on the table and tell people, okay, this is what I can actually do. And also, just want to point out that if Zone of Interest wins the Palme d'Or, maybe this could be an actress prize for Hüller, and in a way they kind of award both of these performances, but they only give it to one film. Maybe I'm just a bit delusional, I don't know.
I'd like to be wrong.
But I have a weird inkling, especially since this is really playing at a prime spot. I think this could be an unexpected surprise.
She showed as a director, she knows how to make a competent film. The question I have is, can she work with a script that is really bringing something interesting to the table? And it's very possible that she is. I sure hope that she is. That said, thank you so much for joining us to our Cannes competition parallel challenge. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our Cannes parallel challenge videos and Cannes videos in general. We're going to be talking about a ton of Cannes Film Festival stuff all the way through the festival, so make sure you stay tuned and follow along on our journey to figure out who our Palme d'Or for this year will be. Thank you so much for watching.